So what's up, YouTube? Hopefully we're live. This is JEFFMAN316, your pop culture reporter. Welcome to the next episode of Let's Watch Movies. And last week we were talking about, with me and a couple guys, we were going to watch Midnight Meat Train. So one of them actually just contacted me and said that he didn't watch it, but it doesn't matter. I watched it. I enjoyed it. And we can talk a little bit about it. So I didn't know if anybody had already connected yet or not. So if you have, chime in. So what's going on, Royce? What's up? So were you able to rewatch Midnight Meat Train this past week? I watched the unrated cut. It had been so long since I watched either one of them. I didn't remember what the differences was, so I watched the unrated version of it. So did anybody else get to check it out? If not, I got a couple clips, and then we can obviously talk about just general overview of the stuff, like the cast, your favorite moments, that kind of stuff. But Midnight Meat Train is always one when I mention it to people. I think the title threw it off to where a lot of people didn't even know what it was about, and they didn't really try to give the movie a chance. But when you go back and watch it, the movie is like, I know it's got some cheesy special effects in it. It really is a lot better than I remembered, and the acting in it is pretty good. I watched it and literally finished watching Butterfly for like 2 minutes ago. All right, well, we'll talk about Midnight Meat Train. If we get bored and want to talk about Butterfly Effect, we could. I didn't watch Butterfly Effect, but I've watched that probably one time this year already, and I remember going back and flipping between the theatrical and the director's cut of that. So we might can chime in on that. But I know Doug said that he was going to be here, but he didn't watch the movie. I was telling him now, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Doug. Get your ass over here and talk about Midnight Meat Train if you've seen it. So either way, I figured I watched it, like I said, watched the unrated cut. Hey, Royce, do you remember what's the difference in the unrated cut versus the theatrical? Was it just more gore? Because if so, maybe they could have left some of that out, because they sure did have some cheesy CGI effects in a couple of these scenes that I think if you had done practical effects in this, the movie would have been much better. But overall, like I said, I think some of the acting in it takes it back up a level, like up a notch. Bradley Cooper, this is one of the first movies that I remember recognizing him as being a good actor in, and I will say that he did a really good job at it. But so there's a video on YouTube if you guys want to check it out that I took some clips from, but it's basically all the deaths in the movie. So obviously the movie opens up Skull Crusher. I really enjoyed Midnight Meat Train, one of the very few horror movies that wasn't shown in the theaters, if I'm correct. I don't remember. Even if it was, because it didn't get a lot of buzz in my area. I live in a rural area. I probably wouldn't have known to watch it. But I do remember that after it came on video, somebody at the time that I don't remember, somebody either worked with or went to school with, they recommended it, said they thought I really enjoyed it because they knew I liked horror movies. And so when I checked it out, I really liked it. I mean, I think it's just because it's so different, and it's not like a lot of the mainstream horror movies that's out there. When I was watching that video where they Dougie says, "Sup, what's up, man?" So just to confirm, have you ever seen Midnight Meat Train at all? Because I might show some clips and it might spoil a few things. So if you don't mind, I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it. But Man Yates saw it for the first time this morning, enjoyed it. It was nice to see a different concept in a horror movie. Yeah, I think that was one of the things. Now that I've seen it though, and I go back and watch a few other movies, I don't know whether the other movies have stolen from this or not, but we can get into it, because I got a few movies that I like that actually some of the themes in it are similar to this. But so I'm going to go ahead and show, I've never shown a clip. I'm new to this, so forgive me. I'm going to add this clip here. This is how the movie opens. There's a guy on the train, and he ends up hearing something in one of the other cars, and he ends up, yeah, sorry, I'm trying to play this off of my YouTube stream here. If it doesn't work, let it buffer a second, then we'll catch back up to it. Here goes. So he slips on some blood that's been dripping in the rest of the car. And so he hears some noises, and what ends up finding it is that it's something going on in the other car. It's buffering too much, so I'll remove it. But either way, so what happens in that? They consider that a kill. He ends up looking through the glass, and what ends up happening is obviously the butcher, if that's what you want to call him, is killing somebody in the car, and then the movie goes into the credits. So a lot of people, I guess, consider that the first kill. Yeah, the way he kept slipping and sliding on the blood, that was cool. I wish that clip would have worked. Maybe I can upload it into StreamYard, and then while we're talking, and I can get it to play that way. I don't know. Well, maybe it's because I'm trying to stream it. But either way, I'm assuming since he can't get off the train, that people are considering that first one the first kill. I guess I'll go with that. Not really sure I want to consider that a kill. At least you don't see it on camera, but it is a cool opening to the movie because you still, like, at that point, don't know what the hell's going on. So that's got a pretty unique opening there. You got you don't really see with what do they call the guy that Vinnie Jones plays? Is he called the Butcher? I don't even remember what his character was called. Mahogany. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. That was on his bag that he had. So yeah, that's the first time you see him, but you don't really see his face, so you don't really know what's going on. So it goes in from that scene into the credits or whatever, and then you're introduced to Bradley Cooper, who is a photographer who takes, like, still lifes of real life situations and stuff, and so he's trying to break into to get some popularity going and get into some shows or whatever, but he just can't crack and find that one good picture that'll get him noticed, until he um, goes down in where the subway train is one night, and he ends up, I think he saw this gang harassing a young female, and he followed them, and he ends up stopping them from harassing her by showing that there's a video camera video and what they're doing. But the cool part about that is he follows her onto the train to take pictures of her, and he ends up uh, she ends up on the same train that was shown at the beginning, and she ends up getting killed. And then he recognizes the pictures that he took when he develops them the next day in the newspaper, and sees that the young lady was killed. And so he starts wondering what the hell's going on. And then so the photos of her where she's kind of in danger, um, ends up somebody gets him connected into this person. Brooke Shields actually plays somebody who, like, owns a gallery, and gets his photos noticed, and she tells him if he can get some more realistic photos like that, just like real gritty in the world, as far as the way the world really looks, like the next thing after somebody's scared, she'll buy some of his photos. So he starts doing more snooping around, and ends up finding that Mahogany. I like calling him the Butcher because that's where he worked. He worked at the butcher shop, whatever you want to call that. And so he following him around is when he starts investigating and seeing different missing people, and then all of a sudden it makes him believe that maybe this guy played by Vinnie Jones has got something to do with some of the disappearing people. And then, man, it goes off to the point to where during his investigation he finds out this thing's been happening for what, 100 years. um Maybe not quite that long, because this movie, I think, came out in 2008, and it was like the early 1900s when people started disappearing. And the only thing at the time when I was watching Midnight Meat Train that kind of threw me off was I was expecting a slasher going into it. And I guess, I don't know if you don't really call it supernatural, but if I don't want to spoil it, I mean, I don't know, Doug, if you don't care, I might spoil it a little bit. Um, there's some creatures involved that basically they're trying to feed in order to appease them or keep them fed, so where they don't come up um, to the from underground too often. So it's almost like they're killing people in the subway to feed these creatures so that they don't come up to the top. But Clive Barker is the one produced it, and I'm pretty sure it's based on a short story of his. So it's got all the right elements there. It's got a tremendous cast. I love Bradley Cooper. I think at the time people weren't giving him enough credit. Maybe once he made The Hangover and people saw that he had some box office appeal, they started letting him do more. But this movie, like I said, it was made in 2008, and at that point, I don't know. I know he had done some movies, but I don't think he had done anything that really popped where people, like he was a household name. I was going back and looking to some of the other stuff he did around the time. I remember he played the buddy to Jim Carrey and Yes Man around the same time. So, he was more of the sidekick in a lot of the movies. He played in Wedding Crashers, and he was the douchebag that was coming after them. But this was the first movie that I remember seeing where he was the lead. And I think once you see him in that, and he really has got some scenes in it that are pretty emotional, and he's one of those actors that you can really see the emotions on his face, and it's not like he's got to do a lot of work to get you into the scene. And after seeing him in Midnight Meat Train, man, it was almost like I was looking out for any little thing that he was doing because I thought he was awesome. Last I saw him was the Circus movie. What's the Circus movie? I don't know what the hell that is. What's the Circus movie? I'm looking at his Internet Movie Database right now. I mean, he's done some really good movies since then. Is that Nightmare Alley? Is that what you're talking about? Like, he's in Licorice Pizza, which I thought he was really good in. Obviously, he was in Stars Born. That was the one that a lot of people got him. He plays Rocket, the voice in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, with some of the ones before that. Oh, American Hustle. He's excellent in that. Obviously, he's really good in the 3 Hangover movies. Yes, Nightmare Alley. Does he have an action figure? See how I snuck toys back into the subject? Yeah, there's Ken. Got to bust my balls again about action figures. If it's a toy related to a movie, I would buy it. So yeah, I would definitely buy a Vinnie Jones Midnight Meat Train figure if it came with all the accessories, like all the blunt objects that he uses. That was kind of cool. But yeah, Nightmare Alley is what he said. So I haven't even watched Nightmare Alley yet. So I guess I need to watch it now that I've been talking about Bradley Cooper all week. But I started going back. He played Face in the A-Team movie. He was good in that. So, like I said, this was one of his first starring roles. Now, the rest of the cast is pretty good too. Vinnie Jones, because he doesn't have to speak a lot in this role, I think does an excellent job. Parts of that scene is the CGI that happens, but one of the things that, like I said, with him not speaking, he's really intimidating. And I think that if he had done more roles like this, I think people would have liked him a lot more. I think one of the problems that he got, like I said, is he tried to do some of that damn action stuff, and I just don't think that it suited him because he's not well spoken, and he's just more an intimidating presence. So I don't even know, has Vinnie Jones really ever done anything other than Midnight Meat Train that you guys liked him in? Like I said, he was just funny in Euro Trip, but I don't really remember him. But there's some other good actors in this too. Roger Bart, who plays Bradley Cooper's, I don't think they're married, his girlfriend's friend, that ends up trying to help with the investigation. He played in Hostel 2 as one of the main guys in that ends up getting killed. He's good as a side character. Peter Jacobson plays Otto, the guy who runs the diner. You probably remember he played in House. I like that. And then I don't know if you guys remembered the ones who've seen this movie remember that Ted Raimi had a role in this. There's a scene in there which is I think it's probably the actual worst CGI shot of this movie, but there's a group of 3 on a subway, and they're talking, and then Mahogany, if that's what you want to call Vinnie Jones' character, ends up killing the 3 of them. And the one Ted Raimi's character takes a whack in the back of the head, and his eyeball literally comes out of his head and shoots toward the screen. It reminded me of some shit that Sam Raimi would have done, like in an Evil Dead movie. But the CGI is really bad in that one spot. I think that they had tried to do something practical of maybe hitting him from behind and maybe it going forward, but trying to do it where it comes at the camera and it being CGI, I think really takes you away from that scene a little bit. So I don't know whether maybe that was that, Royce, you probably know, was that the stuff I'm describing in the theatrical cut, or did they go that far doing some of that stuff in the unrated cut? Because maybe it wasn't quite as bad, some of the CGI in the theatrical, or whatever you want to call it, the R-rated version of it. Maybe they did a lot of that blood splatter too much in the unrated cut. I'm not sure. I've only seen the unrated. Yeah, I guess the Blu-ray that I've got, when I watched it, I guess it defaulted to the unrated. I don't even know if it's got the R-rated cut on there or not. So, but I think that's probably the only way I've seen it. So if anybody watches this and has seen the theatrical cut, chime in the comments now or afterwards after this post, and let me know your thoughts on the theatrical. Is it better? Does it take away some of the CGI gore? That, like I said, that one scene was almost laughable to me. Like I said, it made me feel like I was watching like an Evil Dead type. It was in theatrical cut, and yeah, the CGI was bad also. Okay. So I guess I wonder if you could easily Google and look up, because that was one of the things I was gonna do, and then I ended up running out of time. With it being Father's Day today, I didn't have time to go. I'm uploading these clips in the StreamYard, so I want to watch them again with you guys. I think when I watch it though in StreamYard, it's not going to show me. It'll just be on the screen, but we can talk about it anyway after I show it. So you got the scene with the girl in the subway, and then you got there's a scene where an unexpected person showed up, Rampage Jackson from back in the UFC. He shows up on the train and ends up being one of the victims. I didn't have time to edit all of the videos, but that I wanted. But I did put a couple of the kills that I like the most. But that three-way kill where he kills all three of them standing there talking, I think, and that's the one I'm getting ready to upload now. That ends up being I think my favorite kill other than the CGI. So I think it would have been a lot better without some of that. Rampage put up a good fight. Yeah, he sure did, man. He took some shots, and then he also gave back with that knife, man. I remember there's this part in there during that fight, which I might have in the clip, where Vinnie Jones's character literally bends over and blood's coming out of his mouth. And that's another good thing. I think they do some good effects in this with the cameras, because in the one I'm going to show you, there's literally some blood splatter that hits the camera and they leave it on. Obviously, that was planned. I think they did a really good job of some of the weird camera angles. And in that scene I was telling you about the three people, my favorite part of that, I think I've got in the clip that I'm uploading now, is the girl that tries to get away ends up getting her head taken off. And the one shot, you're actually looking at a POV shot from her eye after her head's been severed off. But let me go see if I can get some of these to play now. So this would have been do you guys consider this guy here? Yeah, I don't know that I mean, he wasn't killed on camera, but like everybody in all the little kill videos that I watch, they consider him to be one of the kills. But I'll go ahead and show you now that I got it loaded up. This is the girl that Bradley Cooper followed, took her photo, and then she ends up on the train. And this to me is the first actual on-screen kill that you see, which is pretty good. And keep an eye on Vinnie Jones, how he's out of focus the whole time, and you're not really keying in on what he's doing, and then you see the blunt object that he's got. So yeah, you can see him coming up from behind. Slowly walking. Very unsuspecting. This is kind of like whap. And so you see some CGI there, which is not the greatest, but either way, I think that's pretty good. A pretty good introduction to his character and what you're going to expect. Now, I think this is the one that I was talking about that's got a Rampage in it. So yeah, you got Vinnie Jones looking around. I didn't show the whole clip. This is a really long fight scene, like Royce was talking about. I like this shot here when he bends over. See, like it's like the camera is actually part of the scene. Yeah, so yeah, like he said, Rampage gets some pretty good shots in on that one. So that's a really good extended fight scene. Obviously, just so you guys know, I got hit with a copyright strike the last time we did one of these Let's Talk movies. Not strike, claim. Sorry. The difference in a claim and a strike is a claim is that you use something and that somebody else is going to get the monetization from it. A strike means that you did it and you weren't really using it for fair use or whatever. You were literally trying to steal it, like call it your own. So I've never been hit by a strike, but I've been hit because I'm new with YouTube. I've been hit with several copyright claims. And I will say that during the week I fought that one, and all I had to do was remove about 10 seconds worth of music, and then they let me take the claim off of my video. So I guess I'm getting a little traction on YouTube thanks to you guys that watch my videos. And now it's way easier for me to fight these things. So the last clip I'll show you is my favorite kill of the movie. There's a lot of movie after this. It's probably like, this is like halfway through it, but yeah, I don't want to spoil the total ending of what happens in this and what Bradley Cooper goes through. But as far as leading up and getting you prepared to what you expect to see, Vinnie Jones's character as the butcher, this is one of the better ones.
I think you're into it, actually. I think you were cool with it.
Wait a second, honey. You know, it's a cheap line. It's cheaper than the place took us to.
Maybe if you didn't sleep throughout the
So I like the use of the mirror from the subway there. See there? Now, if they had left it at that, I'd probably be okay. That there, I felt like I was watching a damn Final Destination movie. I cut out quite a bit there, just so you know, because I didn't want to. And then when she's trying to run away, just like the guy at the beginning, she slips on the blood. And there was a long extended scene of her. There you go. And so that right there, you're seeing the shot from her eyeball of Vinnie Jones in the background there. Now the head looks kind of cheesy, I think. One of the things that with the effects in this movie, I think, is they linger a little too long because it's a lot of CGI. I think if they hadn't lingered quite as long, it wouldn't be as noticeable, or it wouldn't be as bad. But watching it in HD now, seeing scenes like that. But that's the main point I wanted to make with that scene is just the creativity that's used in a lot of the camera angles. Like I said, not only did you start with not just showing a straight on camera angle, you saw what somebody was seeing coming up from behind from a mirror that was mounted in the subway train. And then you get the behind Ted Raimi's character shot as he spins around and falls, and see Vinnie Jones standing behind him. So the focus changes to him. And then after that, he whacks the girl's head off. And then when it goes spinning around, you got the point of view from the reflection in her eyeball. Now, like I said, if they had done kind of like, to me, like a Psycho with that, to where they zoomed out really slow and then turned the camera to where Vinnie Jones was standing upright again, that to me might have been a lot cooler. And don't linger. And then when you bring it in, just stay on her face a little bit, bringing it all the way back and showing that head, and you can see how bad the CGI was with it. I think maybe killed a little bit of the momentum of that. But I think if you watch it up to that point, that's going to probably get you hooked once you get past that point. So I just think it's really creative with some of those kills. Was he in Punisher and Happy Father's Day? Yeah, appreciate that, man. Yeah, Happy Father's Day to any of you guys watching too. Was he in Punisher? I don't know. Was he in one of the Punisher movies? We found later on that the butcher's old. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to, I don't know. I mean, I'm torn here. If you spoil a little bit of it, like I said, you find out that this has been going on a while. And once you get to be the butcher on the midnight meat train, yeah, you're basically in that position for a long time. And I guess he's got something going on with him. I don't want to spoil that. Just one of the pretty gross scenes of something that happened. Some body horror stuff is in there, but it's almost like he's getting sick, and it's going to be almost time for him to get a replacement anyway. And so the ending was also to this one another one that I I've watched a lot of horror movies, and most horror movies are very predictable. And I'm usually able to figure out at least the direction that it's going to go. I'm not saying that I didn't figure a little bit of it out, but I did not see a couple of the things happening that happened at the end of this movie. So that was another thing that I was thinking, that it was like breathing a little breath of fresh air back into the horror genre a little bit. It wasn't rinse, cycle, repeat. It wasn't all happy endings. It wasn't that everything works out for Bradley Cooper. Don't have time to stick around tonight, but definitely wanted to pop in and say hey, and much love and support. Have a happy Father's Day. Yeah, man, that's fine. I mean, I'm no expectation you guys having to come in here anytime you want to come and hang out that I'm doing a live stream. The cool thing about it is, like I said, it shouldn't be as long because we're talking about one individual movie. But yeah, just watch it back later. If you got any questions or you want to chime in, it's much appreciated. Appreciate you coming by, checking it out. So I've talked a lot about it. Hey, Royce, what is your opinion of you are the one I think suggested this. What is your actual opinion of Midnight Meat Train as far as horror movies go? Um, I know you suggested it was because you liked it. What did you like about it? Or any of you guys that are watching this now live, chime in. Let me know, like, what did you like about Midnight Meat Train? What did you think was unique about it? Or if you didn't like it, what did you not like about it? Because I did ask around some of my friends who watch horror movies, and I have to be honest, say more than half of them hadn't seen it. And the ones that had seen Midnight Meat Train, a couple of them didn't like it. And I'm wondering, is it because it doesn't have a typical happy ending, or an ending where it puts a bow on everything and wraps it up? But I think that they maybe could have made a sequel to this thing a year or two later, or whatever, and had it set a little bit into the future, so you would know what happened after the movie actually ended. I thought it was original. I liked all the gore and that it was dark and grimy. Yeah, that, like I said, it was probably a reason if whichever one of you guys mentioned that it didn't think it was at the theater. I don't know that this one at the time, 2018, would have done that well in the theater. 10 years later, after Bradley Cooper had done some stuff, especially like Hangover, and because I think people were starved for horror movies after a while, because most everything we got was PG-13 trash. Like, they were remaking Poltergeist and all kinds of shit like that. If you had put Midnight Meat Train in a theater like 10 years later, I think people would have maybe eat this up. Plus, I mean, they got an instant marketing campaign there that it's based on a Clive Barker story. I think, like I said, if you could bring it into the future a little bit and make some of those effects a lot better. It's kind of like I always joke around and tell people, Jaws 3, if you see it in 3D, is a much different movie than Jaws 3 seeing it in 2D. And I think the same thing with this, is that maybe if they could have figured out a way, done some practical effects instead of CGI, a lot of horror people would have liked it. I thought it was really odd that the butcher let him go after leaving his mark. I guess he only kills on the train. Maybe, or maybe because they needed to give somebody the mark, like, and because of him figuring it out, maybe they, kind of, quote unquote, I'll be funny with this, smelt something in him, in that one scene where he's down there and the creatures are around him. Maybe they marked him because they knew that they needed somebody to replace the current butcher. I enjoy it because it was so different from other horror movies. Yeah, I mean, I'm to the point now I always tell people horror movies are so generic now, or they do a lot of, like I said, copying and rinse cycle repeating the same things, just because once something hits and sticks and people like it, they'll just like try to build off of that. I like anything unique. That's why I like a lot of B-rated horror movies, or you see me picking up a lot of horror movies at the Dollar Tree, where the movies might not be that good, but they take chances and they actually have something unique about them. Like they try to do something different. And if you had given them a bigger budget, it'd probably do well. That's why I think I've over this past year with the pandemic, I've started getting into more fan films and started to get into more independent films. I keep mentioning on the channel, and I know the guys are going to get pissed off if I keep mentioning it. That movie Masquerade, that independent movie that's getting ready. I think he's getting ready to sign a deal. It's a guy named Jason Pitts. He's the one made that fan film that I just reviewed on the channel, Voorhees Night of the Beast. He made an independent movie that is not a fan film. It's just an actual independent short movie called Masquerade. And I've watched it. I keep telling him I'm going to do a review of it, but that's the kind of thing that I think is interesting, where people take chances and they don't just make Hollywood happy endings. I mean, I hate having a horror. It's one or two things I don't like. One, where they have a happy ending where they don't take any chances and everything's just okay and the monster dies or whatever. And then I hate that jump scare shit at the end where they're like, oh, everybody died, the bad guy died. Oh no, we didn't. But then you don't have anything after that. So I like an actual movie kind of like The Mist that has a fucked up ending to it, to where you weren't expecting it and then you're like, it came out of nowhere, something different. And I think I'm probably in the minority, because a lot of, as far as I think differently as far as mainstream horror fans, or mainstream movie fans, sorry, who hated the way The Mist ended. I loved it. After I watched it the first time, I wanted to see it again. So I think that was why, like I said, I hadn't watched Midnight Meat Train in a while. So I appreciated Royce for mentioning it, because um, after watching it again, I was like, I didn't remember how much I liked it until I watched it again. And now, like I said, I may need to check it out every now and then, because a lot of the movies that I like, I typically try to watch once a year or so, or at least have it going on in the background. This is what I want to say about Bradley Cooper. I was discussing like what was it about him that made I think he was, let's put it this way, I think he was one of the main reasons that made this movie as good as it was. He has got something about him, like he's got some charisma, he's got he's got that it factor, something different, because there's a lot of movies that have a main actor in it that just don't have that. Like I really don't know how to describe it. I'll give you an example. Like I said, that independent movie I was watching, Masquerade, there's one of the females in there that it's just like, when you see her, she's got that it factor, and she like takes herself above everybody else that's in the movie, even though everybody else, kind of like in Midnight Meat Train, everybody that's in it does a really good job. I mean, the lady that plays the actress that plays his wife in this, what's her name, Leslie Bibb, she's good, but I don't know, it's almost like she doesn't immerse herself in the role. Like Bradley Cooper, to me, looked like, man, every scene was real emotions on his face, I guess is a good way to put it. Like, that's why he went on to be the mega star out of this movie. Now, she's been in a lot of movies. I mean, she played Ricky Bobby's wife in stinking Talladega Nights. And obviously, like Brooke Shields, the few segments that she's in this movie, she has got, like, she draws your attention, because she's playing a role that's typically the opposite of any role that she normally plays. But that's what I was, like I said, I was discussing that with somebody of, there's just some people, actors, that's got that intangible, like that you the emotion in their face, like everything that they do on the screen, and draws your attention. And like Bradley Cooper in this, you could really tell now compared to what he's doing now. You could see it back then that he was basically a star on the verge, ready to bust out of some of these roles that he's been in. He was more like a, just picking characters, and he was the asshole in a lot of movies or whatever. And in this one, he was the leading man. Like, he has got something in this to where it really, to me, you knew he was going to be a star after this. The Mist and the original Night of the Living Dead and the remake all had great. Yeah, I agree with that, because obviously Night of the Living Dead, you're not expecting the main character to survive and then die. And then the way they did the story similar and flipped it, I liked when Bradley Cooper ate the steak at the diner. You could tell that all of his work was really affecting him. Yeah, I mean, but do you agree? Like I said, and that's one of the good scenes, or the scene where he is in his apartment and he's trying to tell his girlfriend that he will forget everything, and he starts to try to take pictures of her, and she's posing for him, and he tells her to take her shirt off. Like that whole scene, how emotional he got is a scene that isn't in a typical horror movie. Like you could tell he is a real bona fide actor in that role there, and it was like you could tell that he would that movies like this, that he wasn't just going to stay in small roles, that he was going to bust out originally. I think, like I said, I love going back now watching actors that were in small roles that are now super popular, because he literally, now I saw an interview with him, Bradley Cooper said he doesn't even want to star in anything that he doesn't write or direct or have his hands on producing moving forward. And so you could he had that type of ambition, but man, he had some major emotional scenes in this movie that typically aren't in your run of the mill horror movie, especially that's not a mainstream horror movie. I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying? Like there's movies like that you're just like thinking it's going to be a typical horror movie, whatever, and it has a really good emotional performance by one of the actors in there. And like Bradley Cooper in this, I didn't remember just how emotional his character was and just how spot on um, his acting was in this. I mean, I think if you put anybody else in this that was, at the time that wasn't like a good actor, this movie would not be half as good as it is. That he takes it up a level. And I really wish, nothing, I'm not shitting on her, but Leslie Bibb, she's okay. But I really think that if they had gotten a really good actress, like a really strong, emotional actress to play his girlfriend in this movie, it could have been taken to even another level. A little bit of to me was taken away in their scenes, because I don't think that she was like immersed in the role. She wasn't as believable with some of the stuff that she was saying, when you got Bradley Cooper over there basically having a nervous breakdown and looking like, he gets emotional about everything he believed in this movie, and he's tearing up in some scenes. Um, there's a not a lot of actors that could have you know dug into a role like this, into a cheesy horror movie, Midnight Meat Train, and done that. So mad respect for him. I mean, Bradley Cooper's a much better actor than I think people give him credit for, and I hope he does a lot more, because he's done some really good movies horror here in the last couple years. um or maybe if Clive Barker, I don't know how uh, hands on he was with this project. Maybe if he had dug into it a little deeper and been more, maybe if he had directed it, he could have taken this to the next level. But um, like I said, some of these scenes would have been more effective, I think, if they had just stopped. Like when he hit the girl on the head on the train, did I really need to see her head spinning all the way around? Maybe right when the head is getting ready to spin, or you hear a crack, they could have went to the subway car moving or whatever at a fast pace. Or like I said, when he knocked her head off, and once you pull back and you see that it really is the eye from her head, I don't need 10 seconds of it pulling a dolly shot back showing the decapitated head on the ground. I think maybe they were trying to go get people interested more in the gore, and they, even though they didn't need it, because they really had something with this movie. So hopefully I will recommend it here. Hopefully, my channel is small. Maybe in the future, as more people watch my stuff, they'll catch on to some of these small movies that we're talking about. But I definitely, if anybody asks me about horror movies, I'm going to recommend Midnight Meat Train to them, because it's way better than I remember it. So I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in there. Um, just anybody that's left here, do you have people that that like Midnight Meat Train, or are you like me, where it's probably like most people haven't even heard of it? So maybe we need to spread the word a little bit more about what a good movie this is. Clive hasn't directed anything since '95. I don't keep up with him. Has he had health problems or something? Is that, or did he just drop out of Hollywood? Almost sounds like something like See No Evil. Yeah, like what I was gonna say is I'll give you so there's a cop in this that obviously you find out knows what's going on and isn't 100% all in with the investigation, is what Leslie Bibb's character feels. It gives me a feeling. Have you guys seen a movie called 13 Sins? That's a movie where there's some historical shit going on, like a game that's been happening and it's been happening for centuries, and that it has to be policed to make sure that the players are not cheating. And in that, the police know about it, at least some of the police, and some of them are in on the quote unquote game. If you haven't seen that movie, I recommend checking that one out. It's in 2014. Mark Webber is in it, and the cop that I'm talking about in that is played by Ron Perlman. Watched it very recently. I love Ron Perlman. Yeah, so you knew who I was talking about. So he's the cop in it that kind of polices the situation to make sure that the players don't cheat in that movie 13 Sins. I kind of felt like that had a little bit of this vibe in this movie, where the police knew about it and kind of had to protect what was going on. And so they didn't investigate everything as thoroughly as they should. So then I've seen so many movies. So after watching it, I was sitting there thinking about it. Then it also has, with the what's going on under the subway, you got kind of like a Descent type feel to it about them. Mr. Huge Jaw. Yeah, that's true. But he's cool, like in roles like that. I mean, playing the heavy, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I love that movie, 13 Sins. I think it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but maybe you look back at some of the things. I think maybe what I wanted to start doing on this channel is, I don't get a lot of views when I review mainstream movies. And you guys give me the ones you guys that check out a lot of my stuff, give me an opinion here. So I reviewed Jurassic World Domination, and I get 50, 100 views on stuff like that. I had a couple of videos that I did where I recommended some disturbing movies, and it got a lot more views. I think as a YouTuber starting out, one of the mistakes that I make is I go to review a new movie, and then you got like Stuckman, Cody Leach, even somebody on a little bit lower tier like Drum Dums. They all run out day one, Austin Burke, and they review the first new movie of the week. So they're all going to run out and see Lightyear. They're all going to run out and see out Top Gun. Well, there's no way that anybody, and I mean, maybe you guys care. I don't want to discount myself too much. Anybody in the mainstream is going to care what JEFFMAN316 thinks of fucking Top Gun Maverick. But I've seen a lot of movies, and I think I've got some pretty good taste in movies, and I really think that maybe I should go back like this one, Midnight Meat Train, and start picking through my collection of movies that I enjoy and making those a recommendation. And I've even got like a little tagline that I was going to call the series of films, watch this film ? And get it. I could make a logo, WTF. So watch this film is what I was going to call it, and basically start recommending some movies that aren't mainstream movies, and maybe I could get some traction there, because one of the reasons I don't put a review out for like something like Jurassic World Domination day one is, number one, I've got a full-time job and it takes me forever to get home and cut a review, and I'm pretty OCD. I don't want to just throw some shit together like a live. I hate doing those. Just like a quick live just to get something out there. Or I see movie reviewers, they'll get in their car and they'll record a 10-minute review and it looks like shit, and just to get a review out there, that's not who I am. I'm not a YouTuber yet that gets, I'm not making buku money doing this. I'm doing it as a hobby. I'm doing it because I like it. I do it because I enjoy talking movies, like right now. I'm thinking about, like I said, going back and picking some of these older movies, and maybe you guys can help me do that. So some of you guys that are watch, like, I really appreciate, Royce, you picking like Midnight Meat Train, because it's a movie I hadn't watched in a while, and I went out and watched it, and it led me to now I'm recommending to you guys, if you hadn't seen it, watch 13 Sins. That's the way usually movie talk goes, is when you're having these conversations, if you can get more people chiming in, like if we can get more people in the live stream, you can get some good conversation started about movies that you recommend. And I even, like I said, I'm one of those people that the mood I'm in will determine what kind of movie I like, because if I just want to watch, well, no offense to the guys like Chris Duckman, when they review the movie, they don't tell the audience join in. Yeah, that's true. But they also, I don't want anybody to think I'm ever going to think that I'm as good as him. He's good. But I do think that sometimes when you get that large, you don't 100% go all in. Like, I don't think Stuckman would have stuck Jeff Goldblum saying that Jurassic World was a piece of shit at the beginning of his video like I did. Now, he's honest, but I don't think he goes all out and is totally honest, because I don't think if these big guys do that, I don't know if they're going to be invited to the premieres. I just don't think sometimes commentary and ratings and everything that people give on movies. The reason I like Cody Leach is he doesn't give a shit what he says, good, bad, or indifferent. And he's grown his channel that way. He's not as big as a Stuckman or some of those guys, but he's done it his way. And that's the way I want to grow mine, is I'm not going to polish turds for a living and tell people that they've got good movies. I would rather not review it out of respect for somebody. But look at the stuff that I review. You also have to do it on a scale. Like, I reviewed Voorhees Night of the Beast. It's about a dude dressed up as Bigfoot fighting Jason Voorhees, and I gave that a pretty good review on the channel and on Internet Movie Database. But I'm not going to compare that to Midnight Meat Train, and I'm not going to compare that to, the latest and greatest Jurassic Park movie. As far as one has got unlimited production money. Jurassic World, what I'm guessing, probably cost $150-200 million to make it. Voorhees Night of the Beast, I talked to the guy, $15,000. And the quality of the video, the way it looked, the quality of the audio, and then the way he got some good performances out of some of those actors, they're fans of movies, because they look at what they did with $15,000. Whoever it was in here that I recommended Found, that you can buy at Big Lots for $3. I'm not sure if it's true, but it says on Internet Movie Database that movie was made for $10,000. Now, even if it was triple that and it was $30,000, look at that movie and what they got, the performances, the gore, the creativity, and all that. You got to slide your scale down. Like, I'm going to compare Jurassic World Domination to other major blockbusters. I'm not going to compare it to Voorhees Night of the Beast. I love movies. If I feel like I want to laugh, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a comedy, it could be a David Sterling cheesy B horror movie things. Like, I'm going to show you guys some movies on the channel here soon from his stuff that I've bought. I even chipped in and they labeled me a producer on a couple of them, but I really wasn't. I was a backer. So I threw some money their way, and it helped with the production, and he sent me a VHS of some of his movies. So with that being said, it's kind of like Midnight Meat Train. You can't compare that to mainstream horror movies. Yeah, bring on the Sterling. Hey, yeah, there's Cody. I know he commented on one of my videos. Appreciate you coming by, brother. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm in the mood to watch that stuff. I'm not going to sit on my, and say that I've got to watch a mainstream movie every night. It's Dominion. Oh yeah, sorry. What did I say? Did I say Domination? I did that in my video, and I had to cut the shit out. Sorry, I don't care about that movie as much as I probably should. The Jurassic World movie. If I really cared about it, or it was really that good, I probably remember what it was called. So it was cookie cutter. It didn't have enough dinosaurs in it. I jokingly said it didn't have enough Jeff Goldblum in it. It didn't. If it had more Jeff Goldblum snarky one-liners in it or whatever, I would have probably loved that movie even more. Or put another 20 damn minutes of dinosaurs in that movie, and I'd have liked it. hoping the meat hook set arrives soon. Hey, I got a shipping notice for mine. Did you get one for yours yet? We both have chatted. We've ordered the next box set from Sterling Entertainment. I know we're going way off topic here. Anybody want to say anything about Midnight Meat Train? Just leave a comment and I'll jump back in there. But yeah, Cody, I got my shipping notice and I'll look it up here. Hey, did you order anything other than that? Because I ordered the Jacko from them as well. Oh, don't say dude. That's what we're here for. It's called Let's Talk Movies. I've talked Midnight Meat Train for the last 40 minutes, so we can talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about on here. Did you order anything other than that? That's what I was saying. I ordered the Jacko that was signed by Leanna Quigley, is how you pronounce her name. And I just got it in the mail yesterday, and I haven't watched it yet, so I want to watch that. I might talk about that on a channel. I ordered the claw skull helmet. Yeah, I ordered the regular claw helmet. That was before that one you got was available. Plus, I told David I would show it on the channel once he was able to sell those. I got mine in advance. But yeah, my it says my collection shipped. It's in North Carolina, and the meat hook collection is supposed to be here by Wednesday. I know tomorrow's a holiday. Yeah, too much hype thinking it was going out with a bang, then plummeted. My favorite was Jurassic World. I don't even remember. So Jurassic World was basically the one that was a copy of Jurassic Park. Where they first built the world park. I like that one. I think the reason I didn't like Dominion was because you got teased with the dinosaurs going out at the end of the last movie, and then you get this big opening montage of all these news footage of all the dinosaurs and what damage they're doing out in the world, and then they never show anything. I mean, if they had went with the concept of let's see what these dinosaurs are doing and we've got to stop them and we've got to wrangle them back in, it would have been good. I didn't need it to turn into 30 minutes of what the damn locusts were doing and all the and what the crops they were destroying, and then turning into an environmentalist flick. Not that I got anything wrong with that, but this is supposed to be Jurassic World. I want to see dinosaurs, and this is the last one too. I'm getting mine direct from Sterling, and as Friday he told me he's still waiting on the Blu-rays to arrive. Well, just so you know, I ordered mine from you talking about the claw, yeah, or are you talking about the Meat Hook Massacre? Because the stuff that I ordered from David Sterling directly, he said that at the time he was dealing with a distributor, and he would always point me in there and saying that if it was delayed, it was them. Well, when I ordered the Meat Hook Massacre from, was it Makeflix? Is that who it's from? When it was supposed to ship on the 13th of June, and when on the 14th it hadn't shipped, I emailed them. I said, I'm not bad mouthing David, but they told me in an email that, sorry, we're waiting on the stock. Sterling Entertainment was supposed to ship it to us, and then we were going to box it up and package it and ship it for him. So they're just a distributor, and he's still working with somebody else. Couldn't get the movies out any quicker than what he was doing before. But I guess that, when you're an independent filmmaker / distributor like that, it's got to be hard. So both, yeah. So like I said, I'll do a video maybe this week of that claw set. Like I said, I just got the cheap. He cut me a deal. I got it directly from him, so I'm not complaining. It was a really good deal. And I think because of all the wheelings and dealings that we've got, I've got an extra set of Claw and Claw 2 Blu-rays that I may give away on the channel if I can ever get over that next hump. Just so you guys know, every day this week, I usually don't do it. Usually once, twice a week is when I look to see if I've got any new subscribers or whatever. And this week I kept looking because I would gain 2, lose 2, gain 2, lose 2. So I'm actually finally getting some traction to where I think we're only 12 away from getting 1,300. So you guys spread the word. I'm willing to give back to you guys. I said in the video that I would probably do a giveaway of some type at 1,300. And then I want to wait and do the next one at 1,500 because I got some decent stuff that I can give away. It was mostly about locusts and how that is spelled. Too much focus on that and forgot about the dinosaurs, and you only get 2 or 3 minute clip of new dinosaurs. Too fast paced. I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, um, I say that, but damn, I'm OCD, man. I can't own all of the Jurassic Park movies in 4K and then not have the last one. I will say the thing I like about owning a movie at home is if since you've already seen it, you know where the boring parts are. And there's about 30 minutes of this movie in the middle when it's all that locust shit. And then they're trying to decide what to do with that I could cut out. And then I could probably enjoy the rest of it a little more because maybe if you don't have to sit through 2.5 hours, if you only have to sit through an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, it might seem like there's more dinosaurs in there. That movie was too long winded to not if it's supposedly going to be the third in this trilogy and the final, the sixth film to end it all, it should have been jam packed instead of, oh, every once in a while we're going to throw an homage to the original Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movies. Well, if I did, I'd buy the 6-pack, but not by itself. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I bought Black Friday last year. I think I might have got the set, the 4K set. I can't remember. I have to look back. But either way, so yeah, that'd be the only one that I wouldn't have is the newest one. So like I said, I can't. I'm not saying I'll run out of day one and get it, but if you look back at my movie hunt this week, it'll show you how pathetic I am because I ended up buying that Morbius on Best Buy Steel book, and that movie is garbage. It is just as bad as everybody said it was. But I'll say this: every Best Buy Steelbook that I bought, even for crappy movies, a year later, I've been able to sell some of them for triple what I paid for them. And that's how I fund buying new movies. I just did that with one of the Spider-Man movies. One of the 4K Steelbooks, Best Buy was well worth over $100. And I paid 29, I think. And I sold it for over $100. And then I bought the regular version with a slipcover off of Amazon for like $15 in 4K, and then I reinvested the rest into my collection. So there's some of that, and then I sell some of my dupes that I get in trade. Trading is another way that I get a lot of the movies that I have, and then working deals with somebody like David Sterling. Become a friend of them, and then work deals to where you can. The more you buy, the better deals he makes you. Sold me the claw set. I wasn't planning on getting it, but he gave me a good deal. Let me swap out claw one for something I didn't already have on top of that. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. David, I've interviewed him on the channel. He's a nice guy. I love him to death. Work with him on the side. The more you buy, the bigger deals he'll get you. So that's another reason I was able to do that. Off topic, but did you think of the new Monsters teaser? What have they released another one this week or the same one that we talked about last week? Um, I liked it. Like I said, I I like the guy that's playing Grandpa. I don't know about the guy playing Herman, knowing that he was the one that got his brains bashed in Halloween 2, and knowing that he was the warden in 3 from Hell. I don't know that I can picture him as Herman Munster. Looking forward to picking up Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Me too. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it? But I heard it was good. And is it this Tuesday? I love Nick Cage being off the wall, over the top Nick Cage, and he looks like he might do a little bit of that in this. I don't like him now trying to be overly dramatic and stuff. Did you see the new photos? Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Like I said, I mean, I love everything, the way it looks, the characters that he's bringing back. Other than us, I just don't think Sherry Moon Zombie is going to be very good as Lily. I think that's going to be. Unfortunately, I'm usually an advocate. It's fantastic, good, appreciate it, man. You recommending it, but I think you and I seem to be on the same wavelength with movies. Um, Rob posts on Instagram. Yeah, I follow him and I check all of his updates that he posts. Walmart is going to have a set that comes with a shirt. Dude, I'm a little bit overweight. I'm trying to lose some weight. Walmart are usually only in my area. I live in a rural area. They usually get shirts in the boxes that are larges, and I cannot wear a large. I'm gonna probably have to at least get a 2X because the shit will shrink if it's those free shirts usually. So usually have to get something with a much larger shirt. But I didn't think that movie came out this week. I'm getting behind on some of my uh, looking ahead. I will say this. I don't know if the person's here now, but somebody that followed me. I listened to you guys. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I got some feedback saying that I tend to be a little too shaky in some of my videos or whatever. You know what? I need to give myself more credit that you guys are starting to come on board and starting to watch more, whatever, because I figured, hey, I'm new to YouTube and a lot of people, don't watch my videos. Who gives a shit whether I'm being shaky or whatever? Most people could go to walmart.com and know the price. I need to give myself a little more credit. All it took me was just slowing down a little bit, showing more, whatever. And that video that I posted with my movie hunt got a few more views by this time than it normally did. And I actually got some positive reactions from it of people thanking me for, being a little slow or whatever. I, told you guys that, it looks good in photos like 8K and 4K quality, but then see the teaser doesn't look that sharp. Yeah, I agree. But what I was saying is though, I needed to listen to the advice that a couple of the guys gave me. Like I said, I talked to Cody Leach and Drum Dums a long time ago. They probably don't even remember it when I was first thinking about getting into YouTube. And they basically said, do everything that you want to do like you're doing it for a million people. Because when you only have a few at the beginning, it's going to get discouraging at the beginning. I like the humor in your movie hunt videos. Yeah, that's what I when I'm sitting there thinking the stuff in my mind, it's the shit that I think about and I want to throw it on there. I like to throw Yowie Wowie. Do you know that's what's on my did you know that was what was on my shirt? Oops. Yeah, Yowie Wowie. I like the WWE. I was a big fan of the Fiend. I feel like I'm rambling, but either way. Yeah, I could sit down and talk movies for hours with you guys. So I wonder what's going to happen if we do this together for a year and we keep building this up, man. Am I gonna end up having streams that go like hours because I won't shut up? Was wondering, what does the 316 stand for? What do you from what I just said, do you not know what the 316 stands for? I'll tell you, I'll put it in this video. I got it in my welcome video that I recorded like ages ago. Love the Fiend and really hope he comes back. Yeah, so do I. I mean, they said he was difficult to work with, but I'll tell you, I would explain it really quick, all of it. So obviously my real name is Jeff. And so in high school, my best friend and I, well, actually a couple of us went to see Batman 89. To me, it was one of the first blockbusters that I got to see and experience as far as wanting to go back to it multiple times. And so I wanted to get a personalized license plate for my car. And my best friend said, hey man, you keep quoting that I'm Batman. He goes, so I didn't come up with it. He goes, you should put Jeff Man or I'm Jeff Man. Well, in Virginia, you can't get I'm Jeff Man. That's too many characters. So I just got Jeff Man. So then I'm so old that everybody didn't have the internet back then. I had dial up and I was using a local internet provider. And when I was able to, for the first time, sign up for like Yahoo and Gmail, I wanted an email address that I could use the name across all platforms because, I'm trying to think ahead down the line. And so Jeff Man, when I went in to type it in, somebody already had it. So I'm sitting there going, what the hell? Well, one of my favorite things to watch on television back then was WWF Raw, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was the big number one thing. So I had to add a number to my Jeff Man to make it where I could get an email address. So I tried 316, got it the first time. So I immediately went and created a Gmail, a Yahoo. And when I got my Comcast email, I did that so I could stick it with the first one. And I've been Jeff Man 316 or 316 for probably 25 years. So the name stuck, and obviously most people on YouTube don't go by their real name. So JEFFMAN316. I thought it was kind of cool. It rolled off the tongue. This channel started with me watching wrestling and doing custom wrestling figures. The first 2 videos I did were custom wrestling figures. And I will tell you this, I still make a few of those on the side. They're mostly personal, or I've done custom orders for people and I've sold them on eBay. But the 2 things that I love are action figures. As you can see, I've got basically every action figure from when I was a kid over here. I got all my Star Wars figures. I've got my Superpowers figures from DC. I've got my Hasbro WWF figures. And then now I stick to mainly movie figures like NECA figures. So I said, I'm just going to talk about pop culture shit on this channel, and we'll see which direction it goes. And about 2 months ago, I noticed that I never got any traction with anything toy related. There's so many people talking toys. And I also am not as passionate about toys as I am about movies. I can, like I said, look at what we do. I mean, you guys throw a comment out there and I can just go off on a tangent about a movie. I'm not as articulate as Stuckman and all those. I don't write as many scripts for my reviews as a lot of people. A lot of my stuff is just off the cuff, right into the camera, edit the bad shit out after I'm done with that, which is why it takes a while for me to edit videos. I need to get better. I need to write scripts, I guess. But I mean, I'm working a full-time job. I work 45, 50 hours a week. It's hard to do it. I was a WCW guy. I was an NWA WCW guy when wrestling when I was a kid. I hated WWF because I hated the cartoon characters. I didn't like Hulk Hogan. Everybody's gonna kill me. I didn't like I like Macho Man. I didn't like Ultimate Warrior. I thought he was hot garbage. So I watched the quote unquote real wrestling where Ric Flair and Steamboat would wrestle for an hour and that kind of stuff. But then when I got married, my brother-in-law was like, well, you might like that new stuff, dude. Stone Cold Steve Austin is amazing. And Mankind and DX and all that. So I got into it. So Wolfpack for life. I saw it before I clicked on it. Too sweet. No, I like those guys. I mean, that was when wrestling got good, when the NWO, when they switched over and swapped shows. But all right, we're going off on a tangent here. But has anybody got a topic if you guys want to come on here next week that we could talk about? I was a Georgia Championship Wrestling guy. Georgia Championship Wrestling. Who was the main champion back then when you watched it? I don't really remember much about Georgia. I was more mid-Atlantic. Georgia Championship Wrestling. Flair Rose, they were there? So what did that morph into the National Wrestling Alliance? Because I'm looking at the picture. Flair Rhodes. Yeah, it was NWA. Okay, well then, so when I was younger, my grandfather on Saturdays watched NWA, and yeah, I'm seeing a picture here, man. Was that like Gordon Soley? That was the shit back then. That was like that was when wrestling was real. That's what I used to tell my son. I was in wrestling was real back then. Could you review Here Comes the Mustard? Is that the link you sent me? Because remember I told you I lost the link and then it wasn't on Tubi or whenever when I looked at it. This link you sent me's got some Russian shit up under it. Should I trust that? Gordon Soley, yeah, amen, man. Gordon Soley, he thought everything he said was the most important thing ever as far as wrestling wise, which is why he believed it. It was NWA back then. Anything Sterling, I'll be here, brother. Hey, man, I'm gonna sprinkle some of that stuff in there. So, but bring some ideas other than Sterling, man. Like, what movies do you like? Let's talk about it. Yep, TBS in Atlanta. All right. Well, I was probably watching it and just didn't know they called it Georgia Championship Wrestling because I remember when it was rebranded into WCW, but I remember like all that early stuff. So, yes. So, Dougie, this link you sent me is Roku, and it's got like some I didn't want to show your name. Can you see that? It's got some Russian shit up under there. What is that? Why has it got like Russian characters under there? Is that link going to be okay for me to click? Well, I guess if I do it on my iPhone, that'll block anything that's not safe. But either way, not that I don't trust you, but it was just a little bit suspicious looking that it's got some Russian characters under there. But yeah, all right, is Royce, you or Doug or somebody, um, I'll watch Here Comes the Monsters. So yeah, I promise you I will watch it. If I like it enough or I think it's unique enough, I'll do some kind of review. Good time to roll Meat Hook out if you're getting it next week. Yeah, I'm gonna anything that I get this week. Like I said, I was gonna start. I'm so busy. Usually, I try to do a lot of the videos at once and then edit them down. So what I was gonna do is when I get the Meat Hook box set, I was gonna do an unboxing of it and show it. At the same time, I'll record my claw one, and then I'll probably show the ones that I helped chip in on. And I'll Things 666 and Axe Grinder 3 were the ones, and I got the limited edition tapes out of that deal for helping. I can try and find a link without. No, I'm fine with that. I just didn't want to. Where did you get that link from? It says RU. I thought it was like Roku or something, but I'll try it. We'll see. So there's no mainstream media link that I can get. Here Come the Monsters. You're telling me in 2022, with a Monsters movie on the horizon, that there's nowhere in the United States that I can watch Here Comes the Monsters. That's yes, I have seen the Ashley Judd movie Bug. I liked her at the time. Two reasons. Number one, she's a good actress. Number two, she's fucking hot at the time. And I kind of had a little mini crush on her, and I was watching everything. I had some really high expectations in that movie. It wasn't quite as good as I was thinking it was going to be, but it was so weird and unique. Is that the one that's got Harry Connick Jr. in it? Because I liked the movie. But it wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. It is UK, okay, but made in the USA. How about Vampire's Kiss? What's Vampire's Kiss? Is that one with Nicolas Cage in it? I adore that movie. Bug? Maybe I need to go back and watch that again. But did you like me? I mean, Ashley Judd, she was fucking hot back then, dude. Everything she was in, I would watch just because of how good she looked. Vampire's Kiss. Do I have that? Was that a Dollar Tree? Was that one of those MGM Dollar Tree movies? I'd have to check and see if I got it. If not, where can I watch it? Is it streaming anywhere? And like I said, why in the world does Here Come the Monsters not on a streaming service right now with that movie coming out? Everything Monsters, they should just be lining it up. Universal owns everything else. Monsters, do they not own Here Comes the Monsters? Dollar Tree had it, and yes, it's about to come out on Blu-ray. Oh, really? That movie's very underrated. Maybe that is one we need to talk about. But I don't if it's coming out on Blu-ray, let's wait until I want to get it on Blu-ray. Before we talk about it. As you guys know, if you saw, I've got to watch a lot of damn Halloween movies coming up. So one of the weeks, I would like the topic to just be the Halloween movies so I can get some good ideas for my videos. It was a fox sound. Okay. So I don't want to do it next week. I'm off July 4th weekend. So maybe that weekend could we do the theme as Halloween? And you guys, anybody that shows up can chime in and give me some obviously the first movie Halloween is my second favorite movie of all time. So I'm not gonna have any trouble with the first two Halloweens. Halloween 3, probably, but I think everybody else thinks Halloween 4 is way better than I think it is. I think that movie is a little overrated in the Halloween community, and I don't want to piss people off. But I have a hard time watching Halloween 5. I think 6 is a little overhyped because of the producer's cut. And then the last two are Halloween H2O is pretty good and Resurrection. But maybe that weekend of July 4th, that Sunday night, if you guys are available, we'll talk about Halloween. So we've only got what, 1 week in between there. So we need to come up with a movie or a topic for next week. Instead of an individual movie, you guys think of a topic. What could we talk about? 4 is better than 5. Oh yeah, hell yeah. Halloween 4 is way better than 5. 5 is dumb as hell, having Danielle Harris's character basically a mute where she doesn't talk. And then there's that one scene where uh, Donald Pleasance basically shakes the shit out of her and is like trying to force her to talk. Like literal child abuse would I don't even know if you better do that in a movie now, but screaming and yelling at her. But that movie is just so disjointed. Plus, he was supposed to have gotten burned at the end of Halloween 2. And he takes, isn't that the one, is it in 4 or 5 where he takes his mask off? That's either, whichever one that's in, that scene ruins the movie for me, because he takes his mask off and he's got literally no scars on his face. He was in a fire, literally, that mask should have burned and melted to his face, to the point to where at the beginning they had his head bandaged. And that's another thing, not to rant on it, but if you've been in a coma for 10 years and you're a fire survivor, whatever you want, burn survivor, there is no way that 10 years later your damn face would still be fully wrapped in bandages. It would have stuck to your face. That would be so unsanitary for that type of wound. They would have healed it, and by that time peeled 20 layers of skin off, and the damn thing would have been healed. Why was his face still bandaged after 10 years? That's ridiculous. But everybody loves that bandage mask for some reason. And then I'm sitting there going, it's a cool mask. It's a cool look. And if it had been done 1 year after the end of Halloween 2, but they legit talk about him being, in the coma for like 10 years. Why was his head wrapped for 10 years? That's stupid as shit. Sorry, I didn't went off on a rant. See what you guys do to me when I get off on one of those rants. But what was he talking about? Vampire's Kiss? I was going to look it up on Amazon and see when it comes out. June 21st. MVD is releasing it. Hey, I support MVD. I got quite a few MVD releases like over here, I think, on this rack. I have to look. But they usually do a pretty good job of restoration on movies. I didn't even remember who was in that. Maria Conchita Alonso. She was in which Arnold Schwarzenegger movie was she in? Jennifer Beals from Flashdance and Elizabeth Ashley. So yeah, that's got a pretty good cast in there. So yeah, I'm gonna probably end up buying that. So wait till I buy it, I'll watch it, and then we'll talk about Vampire's Kiss. So that's a good choice. Maybe I'll review that on my actual YouTube channel too, because like I was telling you guys, I want to review some stuff that's off the wall that isn't just mainstream. So maybe I can get some. Hey, just so you know, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent that said doesn't come out this week, comes out June 21st. Oh well, shit! That is Tuesday. Oh, I'm a week off. So yeah, it does come out this week. Vampire's Kiss does too. Forget everything I just said. So maybe I need to order that. What if I order it from Amazon, if it'll come on Tuesday, or would I get it Wednesday? I got it pre-ordered. Screen Factory had it, but it went OP quit. You mean quick? What, Vampire's Kiss has already been out on Blu-ray? I might have to look. I might have it. Let me look at how far does Amazon go back on their history of movies, orders, whatever you want to call it? Because was Vampire's Kiss, was that in one of those double packs from Shout Factory? Because I think I already own it. I do own it. Look at that. It's in I've got it put up in one of my cases with some of my more valuable movies. Vampire's Kiss came out on a 2-movie set with High Spirits. So I do own that movie already. So I will watch it this week on Blu-ray. It was released by Screen Factory. Yeah. Screen Factory, Shout Factory. What's the difference? Yep, it was a double feature with it. Yeah, well, I don't think High Spirits is a vampire movie, is it? It says Daryl Hannah, Peter O'Toole, Steve Guttenberg, Beverly D'Angelo, Jennifer Tilly, Peter Gallagher, and Liam Neeson. That is an all-star cast. Talk about what we were talking about earlier. Hey, look, it all comes full circle. Movies where actors were in it where they weren't like super popular, they were just getting started, and then they all went on to be. You can tell who had the it factor. So think about it. You had Daryl Hannah, Beverly D'Angelo. Why am I having trouble saying that? That's Ellen Griswold. Jennifer Tilly, Liam Neeson. Obviously, out of that group, Liam Neeson has probably been the most popular one. When a castle turned hotel owner owned by Peter Plunkett, that's O'Toole, falls on hard financial times, he comes up with an idea to turn the place into a tourist attraction by billing it as Europe's most haunted castle. Just when it seems he'll have to give up the ghost, some real phantoms show up, and they're none too thrilled about being exploited. So it's not a vampire picture, it's a ghost picture, but it's like a comedy. The difference is it produced by Shout, but when you think of Scream Factory, you think horror movies. Yeah, I guess that's true. But almost everything they release is either sci-fi or horror. I mean, it's pretty rare. Um, I don't know. One of the weeks I wanted to talk about one of my favorite movies, which was see you guys next week. Hey Roy, send me some ideas, or I'll think this week about what we could talk about. But one of the movies I want to talk about on this channel one day is the 70s version of King Kong, because I really love that movie. I grew up with it, and I don't think it gets enough love. But I'll think about a topic this week. But like I said, not this weekend. The next weekend coming up, but July 4th weekend, it's going to be the Halloween franchise is what we're going to talk about. So if you guys in the meantime think of anything cool once we hop off of here now, put it in the comments down below, or send me a message on Instagram, JEFFMAN316, and we can decide what we want to talk about as far as movies next week, because I literally don't have a topic. Let's review Maniac sometime soon. I don't mind doing that next week if you want. Actually, what I'll do is we'll talk about both of them. Have you seen Maniac and the remake with Elijah Wood? If you've seen Maniac, I'd like to know what everybody's opinion is of the remake. So yeah, we'll talk about that. So anybody wants to watch the original Maniac, and if you want to watch the remake with Elijah Wood, we'll talk about that next week, because I actually bought Maniac. One of the videos that's going to come up this week is going to be a haul video outside of my weekly one, because Amazon, if you guys don't know, has got of course, love both of them. Or you said nope. Does that mean you haven't seen it, or you don't have access to it? Let's look and see if we can find one or both of them on a streaming service and see what we can do with old Dougie over there. But or have you seen the original Doug? If you've seen it at all, you don't have to go back and watch it. It's pretty iconic. But the cool thing about it is what I was saying. Check out Amazon link with the buy 3 for 2. They also have 50% off of Arrow titles. They have ones with coupons on them, and they also have some of the Arrow titles are 50% off, and they're part of the buy 2 for the price of buy 3 for the price of 2. So you can double dip. It's probably going to end on today or tomorrow. I don't know, whenever the Target sale ends. But I picked up a big chunk of movies, like really, really, really cheap compared to what they should have been, and some really old school horror movies. And so that I'm going to drop a video this week of a haul from my Amazon sale. And then part of my weekly movie hunt this week, I may drop in the local Barnes and Noble to see if they've got any good Arrow titles, because they're 50% off this week. So we'll see. I've spent about 150 already this weekend as Amazon. Yeah, I don't even want to know. Shh. Wife's in the other room. But yeah, I've spent a lot, but it would have been probably triple that. I got a lot with the ones with coupons on them. Night Maniacs. Yeah, appreciate it, Royce, as always. I'm going to hop off here. I always say that I try to keep these things about an hour. Haven't seen either, but a video on Facebook, on YouTube. The lady was the actress, and he took off the hair of the skull. Yeah, I mean, Tom Savini did the special effects in it. Doug, that Maniac movie, if you haven't seen it, I'll upload some clips and I'll play them like I did at the end. So I think that'll do better. It's got one of the coolest shotgun effects to the head of any movie ever, because Savini did it with practical effects. It's really cool. That movie is kind of cheesy, but it's iconic at the same time with some of the stuff that it did. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out for as long as you did. Do me a favor, start sharing the videos that we're all a part of. I say we because you guys come on here and you help make up the topics and what I talk about. There's no way I could have rambled for an hour and a half without you guys chatting with me. Share the links, share the videos, tell people that like movies, horror movies especially, to drop by. I'm probably going to keep doing it on Sunday nights. I'd like to get the chatter started. Anybody that's a friend of you guys would be a friend of mine. They don't have to be a subscriber to the channel. The scene I'm talking about was in the original one. I don't know if it was in the remake, but I'll watch the remake this week, and that way I can give you some hints at it. Yeah, old. It was in the original, the one I'm talking about. Savini hasn't done a lot of he's done some effects, but nothing to that level. I mean, this was, when I say iconic, it would have been done back then, and people just basically copy a lot of the stuff from that movie now. It's got really good practical effects in it. And it's one of those, man, it's kind of dirty. Like, you watch it, and you like want to take a bath afterwards or a shower. I mean, it's got some gritty, grimy topics about it. But I appreciate you, Doug, man, sticking with us for most of the stream. And like I said, I'll check that link out that you sent, and let me know. Do you think I'm gonna like Here Comes the Monsters? Yeah, the hair coming off. Yeah, like I said, some of those effects and scenes in Maniac are pretty iconic for things that it was not a mainstream movie. It would have got it like an original X rating, and then a lot of movies since then have copied it. So either way, that's pretty good. So Doug, you got to go out and watch Midnight Meat Train. So since you didn't get to watch it now, and I'd like, just because I want to know your opinion of it. Since most of us liked it, the ones that were in the stream, I'd like to know what you think about it. And like I said, maybe we'll talk about Maniac next week, or like we did here, the last 30 minutes is a free for all. So that's what we'll do. The first part of it's got to be talking about Maniac, the original or the new one, and then the last of it can be the free for all, is what we'll call it. And we'll talk about anything. So appreciate everybody that stuck with me on this one. Appreciate you guys that always come, like I said, and keep inviting other people, because we can only grow this channel without great people like you. Was that in both remake, the hair coming off? He basically scalped females in both of them and put the scalps on the mannequins so that it would remind him of the women that he had, I don't know what you want to call it, like done him wrong, or that he felt like that he wanted to be able to talk to them afterwards. So it was like he put their scalp on there. So, but I don't want to spoil too much about it. But yeah, the basic premise is the same between the new one and the remake, but it isn't as dirty and gritty and grimy in the remake as it is in the new one. But he's a really like a more awkward person, doing a lot of inner monologue, and it's one of Elijah Wood's best performances, I think. Be live. What day will you be live? If it's all right with you guys, I'm going to try to stick to Sunday nights. I mean, it works better for me because I can like record and edit videos on Saturdays sometimes during the day or at night. And then by Sunday, I'm ready to relax because I got to go back to work tomorrow. And I don't have to sit and record new content. I can just sit down and chat. So as long as Sunday nights work, that's probably the night I'm going to stick with. If anybody wants to make a suggestion, though, I mean, I could possibly do Friday or Saturday night. But if I end up going to more movies this year, I would probably not be as free on Saturday nights. I could possibly do Fridays, but I'd have to rush home from work and get ready or whatever. So Sunday, I'm more laid back during the day, just doing whatever. And then I can just casually turn the mic and the camera on midnight and just sit down and start talking. So that's why I did Sunday. Anybody that watches this now or in the future, just let me know and we can switch it up. I mean, I'm here to talk with you guys. So you guys help make the channel what it is. So I'm not going to try to stick with something that doesn't work. I think you will like the movie. I couldn't find a different link. Sorry. But plus you like the one. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've liked all the other ones. I like everything Munster so far. There's no reason that I shouldn't like that one. So I appreciate you trying to find me a way of watching that, man. I really do appreciate it. So it shows you're a big fan of movies like me. So if nobody's got anything else, I think I'm getting ready to head out. So until next week's live stream when we talk about Maniac, the original and the remake, and then Free for All, anything else you guys want to talk about. This is JEFFMAN316, your pop culture reporter, signing out saying, you guys be safe out there.
Mr. Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen.